It is better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both. Your mind is a throne under siege, and every idea you entertain becomes either a loyal guard or a traitor within your walls. Outside forces, media, peers, societal pressures advance like silent armies, probing weaknesses, testing your defenses. Each unchecked thought allows their influence to creep closer. Each distraction weakens your authority. You are at war for the sovereignty of your own cognition, and ignorance is a vulnerability no fortress can afford. Every morning decision, from what you consume to whom you listen to, becomes a tactical engagement. Each choice either fortifies your position or leaves you exposed. Consider the invisible invader that surrounds you daily. Subtle messages infiltrate through headlines, notifications, and casual conversations. Often, you do not notice these incursions until their effects are embedded in your perceptions. To defend the throne, you must train vigilance like a sentinel watching for movements in the dark. Recognize that what appears trivial, a comment, a fleeting thought, a trending story, can carry strategic consequences. Awareness is the first weapon. Survey your mental territory constantly, map the sources of influence, and identify which ideas deserve space and which are spies disguised as friends. High stakes govern mental sovereignty. Failing to confront subtle manipulation is not mere distraction, it is the slow erosion of authority over your own decisions. Every time you allow reactive thinking to dominate, you surrender territory to external control. Mastery of your mind is therefore not optional, it is survival. Structure your mental campaigns deliberately. Separate fact from opinion, observe without succumbing to impulse, and measure your responses as a general assesses battlefield conditions. The cost of negligence is immediate and cumulative: wasted energy, misaligned decisions, and vulnerability to persuasion that serves others' agendas rather than your own. Reframe ordinary moments as micro-battles. When scrolling a social feed, you are not passively entertained, you are choosing allies and enemies, validating ideas and signaling priorities. Choosing whom to trust at work or whose opinion to weigh is not social politeness. It is the deployment of resources on a living battlefield. Calibrate your attention like ammunition. Do not scatter it lightly. A disagreement handled calmly can act as both defense and offense. Acknowledge the perspective, maintain composure, assert boundaries, and allow reason to prevail without conceding your ground. Weak, react emotionally and escalate. Strong, observe, measure, and guide the interaction with unshakable presence. Your mental fortress is built with discipline and observation. Fortify it with clear intentions, daily reflection, and strategic planning. Treat thoughts as soldiers. Some patrol, some scout, some carry critical intelligence. Deploy them purposefully. Silence is a tool as potent as any weapon. Pausing before reaction allows assessment and adjustment. Do not underestimate the enemy that masquerades as triviality. Even a small lapse can provide access for ideas to infiltrate unchecked. Control over attention is control over outcome. Command the throne within. Survey your cognitive borders constantly, reinforce the strongest guards, and withdraw consent from those who undermine clarity. Each decision to focus, to question, to withhold assent is an act of conquest. By mastering the internal battlefield, you shape how the external world responds. Stand firm, remain alert, and act with deliberate precision. Your sovereignty over thought is your ultimate armor, your decisive power, your untouchable advantage. Your mind commands, the world obeys. Every idea you entertain is either a soldier at your command or a traitor within your walls. Your mind is a throne, and every thought you allow shapes the empire you will rule. If you do not oversee the internal landscape, External forces will shape it for you. Each perception, each memory, each impulse has the potential to either fortify your authority or undermine it. Treat your cognition as territory, survey it constantly, eliminate vulnerabilities, and ensure loyalty within every corner. Awareness is not optional, it is the foundation of power. Thoughts are your crowned soldiers. Each concept you nurture, every principle you accept, serves as a unit in the army defending your internal empire. Strengthen their ranks through deliberate focus and reflection. When a distracting idea arises, do not permit it to wander freely. It is a scout for enemies. Align your cognitive forces with strategic objectives, channel energy toward priorities that reinforce your control, and allow no idle thought to linger unexamined. Discipline your attention as a general marshal's troops, positioning every unit for maximum advantage. Fortress of awareness defines the boundaries of your dominion. Mental habits, repeated patterns of reaction, and unchecked assumptions create vulnerabilities. Map these weaknesses as if planning defenses against a siege. Monitor your responses to stress, information, and persuasion. When a conflicting opinion emerges, acknowledge it calmly, assess its merit, and integrate what serves your strategic vision. Weak, react immediately, and concede ground. Strong, observe, measure, and assert clarity without surrendering authority. This vigilance ensures that no internal rebellion can take root. Sovereign decisions are the instruments of influence both within and without. Each choice you make reinforces your command over yourself and your environment. Determine priorities, set limits, and act with deliberate intent. Do not allow external pressures to dictate actions. The throne remains secure only when you govern decisively. Recognize that your daily routines, the selection of whom you listen to, and the ideas you cultivate all build or dismantle authority. Treat these decisions as maneuvers in a broader campaign, each with strategic significance. Commanding your inner empire requires constant maintenance. Reflect daily on where your attention has wandered, what alliances you have nurtured in thought, and which impulses you have restrained. Silence, observation, and disciplined focus act as fortifications. By mastering the internal battlefield, you shape the conditions for influence externally. Do not underestimate small, consistent actions. They determine the strength and reach of your authority over time. You must eliminate distractions and reinforce priorities. Train your mind to distinguish between fleeting impressions and core principles. Reaffirm your objectives continuously and do not yield mental ground to impulses that serve convenience rather than strategy. Consider every moment of indecision as a potential breach. Respond decisively, reinforce clarity, and ensure alignment with long-term goals. Each deliberate action consolidates power and reduces vulnerability. Command the throne within with unwavering attention. Observe threats silently. Allocate cognitive resources strategically and maintain composure under challenge. Your sovereignty is measured by the discipline of your soldiers, your thoughts, and the resilience of your defenses. Strengthen weak points, cultivate loyal ideas, and excise what undermines authority. Operate with patience, precision, and calm determination, letting the momentum of disciplined thought dictate outcomes. Internal mastery is not static. It is forged through continual vigilance. Monitor the flow of information, the impulses of emotion, and the strategies of persuasion. Treat every moment as an opportunity to reinforce your command. Adjust positioning, recalibrate priorities, and reinforce the hierarchy of ideas within your mind. Each deliberate intervention strengthens the throne and extends your influence beyond the immediate battlefield. The mind that governs itself becomes untouchable. Awareness, Disciplined thought and strategic decision-making combine to produce unshakable authority. External events may shift, opponents may advance, yet the sovereign within maintains clarity, calm, and decisive influence. Strength is rooted in vigilance, resilience, and command over every cognitive soldier under your banner. The fortress of your mind is built with intention and maintained through relentless attention. Your throne commands, not surrenders. Your day is a battlefield, and victory begins the moment light breaks the horizon. The first hour determines whether you seize control or are dragged into chaos. Morning is a preemptive strike against distraction, a tactical engagement where discipline secures dominance. When you command your earliest actions, you dictate the rhythm of every subsequent moment. Every decision made in calm focus sets the tone for engagement with the world. To surrender this window is to grant initiative to forces outside your control. First light is your first strike. Rising with purpose is not mere routine. It is the opening salvo in the campaign for your attention, energy, and influence. Structure the initial moments deliberately. Hydration, movement, and intentional focus prime your mind and body. Each small act consolidates territory, asserting sovereignty over your schedule before external demands arrive. Do not allow the morning to be reactive. Take initiative. Declare authority over your time before it is contested. Conduct mental reconnaissance as soon as you awaken. Journaling, reflection, and quiet assessment expose hidden threats to clarity. Identify lingering concerns, incomplete tasks, and potential sources of distraction. This reconnaissance allows you to anticipate conflicts, prioritize objectives, and deploy energy effectively. Observing without judgment, you gather intelligence on your own tendencies and weaknesses. Use this knowledge to strengthen focus and prevent small disruptions from escalating into breaches of control. Energy functions as ammunition in every engagement. How you cultivate it in the morning determines whether you act decisively or respond defensively. Food, movement, and mental preparation are resources to be deployed with strategic precision. Neglect these, and you enter the day fatigued, reactionary, and vulnerable to external pressures. Invest them wisely, and each action becomes a coordinated strike toward your objectives. Treat your vitality as a limited asset that must be allocated carefully. The morning is also a test of boundaries and consistency. Resist the temptation to scroll aimlessly, to defer priorities, or to concede momentum to others. These minor concessions accumulate, and soon you find yourself defending ground that should have been secured hours earlier. Assert the rhythm of your own agenda. When disagreement or competing priorities emerge early, handle them calmly, acknowledge the concern, reinforce your schedule, and execute your plan without yielding unnecessary ground. Weak, react impulsively. Strong, maintain composure and control. By mastering the initial hours, you cultivate a state of readiness that carries through every interaction. Tasks, communications, and challenges are approached from a position of initiative rather than response. Your actions become anticipatory strikes rather than defensive reactions. The discipline exercised now compounds, making later resistance less frequent and less effective. Treat the morning as a command center, orchestrating each move with foresight and precision. Victory is secured before the day begins, when attention, focus, and energy are marshaled deliberately. Command the first light as your strategic advantage. Fortify habits, plan movements, and maintain situational awareness. The discipline of morning routines transforms ordinary hours into a sequence of controlled engagements where you lead and others follow. Each deliberate act sets the battlefield in your favor. Win the morning, win the day. Silence is a weapon, and patience is the hunter's edge. The world often moves in haste, revealing intentions through action, not speech. To wield influence without exposure, you must learn the power of stillness. Waiting allows observation, assessment, and strategic positioning before committing to action. Impulsive responses surrender advantage. Deliberate restraint consolidates control. Every pause is a reconnaissance mission. Every quiet moment a chance to anticipate movements unseen. By mastering calm, you create a presence that shapes outcomes before words are spoken. Waiting in the shadows is your first maneuver. Observe without reacting, noting patterns, tendencies, and vulnerabilities. In social dynamics, the silent observer gathers intelligence while others exhaust themselves in noise. Restrain immediate judgment. Let the world reveal itself gradually. Knowledge acquired in stillness is precise, actionable, and unchallenged by emotional turbulence. Refrain from immediate contribution until the terrain is understood, then act decisively with maximal impact. Calm functions as armor, protecting decisions from impulsive error. Emotional volatility clouds judgment and compromises strategy. By maintaining composure, you shield critical reasoning from distraction and influence. In meetings or negotiations, when provoked, respond with measured intention rather than reflexive emotion. Weak, react defensively and escalate tension. Strong, observe, absorb, and assert influence with deliberate calm. This restraint signals authority and control, establishing psychological dominance without overt force. Silent signals extend influence without words. Posture, timing, and subtle cues communicate authority and intention. An unshaken demeanor can alter others' decisions before a single command is given. Micro-expressions, pauses, and calibrated gestures act as instruments of leverage, shaping perception and guiding behavior. Apply these intentionally. Let your presence convey readiness, patience, and discernment. Influence without speech is less likely to trigger resistance and more likely to command attention. Strategic stillness requires routine and discipline. Begin each day with moments of observation, reflection, and preparation. Assess objectives, map potential challenges, and allocate mental energy where it will have the greatest effect. Avoid filling silence with unnecessary action or commentary. Recognize the strength inherent in withholding until conditions are favorable. Each act of restraint multiplies the potency of your subsequent engagement. Internalize the mindset of the silent predator. Patience is not inaction. It is a calculated strategy that amplifies control. Let the world move visibly while you gather intelligence, plan interventions, and prepare decisive maneuvers. Do not be swayed by agitation around you. Remain anchored in awareness and purpose. Use calm to outlast and outmaneuver competitors, shaping outcomes with precision and discretion. Command your presence with deliberate quiet. Observe, reflect, and act strategically. Allow silence to communicate authority, patience to build leverage, and calculated action to achieve results unseen by those who rush. The predator waits, unseen, and strikes with efficiency because preparation was complete and the timing exact. Stillness conquers before action. Weakness within your mind is a liability, and hesitation is the enemy of authority. To maintain control, you must identify and remove what undermines your power. Internal saboteurs, self-doubt, envy, fear act as traitors within your cognitive fortress. Each moment they linger, they erode focus, distort judgment, and slow decisive action. Recognize these intruders swiftly, name them clearly, and neutralize their influence. Self-awareness is the first weapon in purging internal threats. Reflect on recurring patterns of hesitation or insecurity, and confront them deliberately with strategy, not self-recrimination. Social culling is an extension of internal discipline. Relationships are not neutral. Some allies support your objectives, while others covertly drain energy, spread doubt, or introduce conflict. Identify individuals whose presence weakens clarity or compromises goals. Set boundaries or disengage decisively when necessary. Weak tolerate constant interference and hope it changes. Strong act deliberately, communicate clearly, and reallocate energy to constructive alliances. A calm, measured explanation suffices when disengaging from covertly toxic interactions. Acknowledge contributions, assert boundaries, and proceed with purpose. Relentless efficiency is the methodology of purging. Do not allow obstacles, internal or external, to linger and organize against you. Address issues swiftly to prevent escalation. Every delay grants potential adversaries an opportunity to exploit uncertainty. Each obstacle removed strengthens focus, consolidates resources, and reinforces authority. Tactical decisiveness ensures that vulnerabilities are minimized before they can manifest into larger challenges. Consistently practice evaluation of priorities, acing what contributes to advancement and what detracts from momentum. Treat thoughts as units of an army. Allocate attention only to those aligned with objectives. Distracting doubts, lingering regrets, or unproductive fantasies must be reassigned, reframed, or excised. Avoid procrastination in these eliminations. Action taken immediately is more effective than delayed correction, which allows uncertainty to spread. Mental clarity arises from selective focus, disciplined allocation of energy, and elimination of internal friction. Apply the same principle outward. Evaluate commitments, information, and external influences. Remove or limit exposure to channels that propagate distraction or reinforce limiting beliefs. A calendar, communication, and content intake should be curated deliberately, as a general selects which units to deploy and which to withdraw. The cumulative effect of repeated decisive purges builds a resilient structure, resistant to internal failure and external manipulation. Efficiency requires continuous vigilance. Reassess relationships, routines, and cognitive patterns regularly. Identify new threats early and respond promptly. Use calm observation, not impulsive reaction, to determine what remains beneficial and what must be severed. Strategic elimination strengthens autonomy and ensures that every available resource supports objectives rather than dissipating energy. Internal and external purges converge to create decisive advantage. The mind becomes clearer, actions faster, and influence more precise. By exercising what weakens you, you reduce vulnerability and increase strategic flexibility. Boundaries are enforced, focus is sharpened, and progress becomes inevitable through disciplined, deliberate removal of impediments. Remove what diminishes. Power endures. Authority is not granted, it is projected. The throne you hold within must be visible in every gesture, every glance, and every word. Presence commands before argument begins, and perception shapes how others respond. Your external projection amplifies internal mastery, transforming competence into influence. Subtle cues, posture, gaze, and tone communicate power more effectively than force. Master these signals and you shape interactions before they escalate, creating psychological advantage without confrontation. The eyes of the predator survey without hesitation. A steady, deliberate gaze signals confidence and awareness, deterring challenge before engagement. Maintain focus, scanning your environment with measured intent. When others perceive unshakable attention, they instinctively defer or adjust, granting you space to maneuver strategically. Weak, darting eyes and distracted focus convey uncertainty. Strong, Unwavering observation communicates readiness, authority, and anticipation. Use eye contact to guide interactions subtly and assert dominance without speech. Voice serves as weapon and armor simultaneously. Tone, pace, and volume function as psychological artillery, influencing perception and response. Speak deliberately. Pause to emphasize intention. Do not rush, for haste diminishes impact and invites misinterpretation. Variations in pitch and rhythm can command attention, underscore authority, and deter opposition. Words are amplified by delivery. Assert control over cadence to project the weight of your throne. Micro-adjust phrasing in high-stakes discussions to reinforce authority calmly, never aggressively. Composure is the armor of command. Remaining calm under scrutiny signals unshakable control and discourages challenge. In negotiations or conflict, emotional restraint conveys mastery over circumstance. When provoked, respond with measured poise, demonstrating that your power is rooted in strategy rather than impulse. Weak, react emotionally, surrendering authority. Strong, maintain presence, evaluate threats, and act decisively with purpose. Consistent composure reinforces credibility and ensures interactions unfold on your terms. Integrate posture, gaze, and voice into a cohesive projection of authority. Every movement and utterance should reflect deliberate command, conveying the power of your internal throne outwardly. Observe the reactions of others, adjusting subtly to maintain strategic advantage. Presence alone can disarm resistance, aligning perception with your intended influence. Combine visual, auditory, and behavioral cues to assert control efficiently, requiring less effort than coercion. Authority is both internal and external. Strength within the mind is reinforced by signals projected outward. The throne you hold is not a secret. It is a presence others recognize, respect, and anticipate. Develop awareness of the interplay between perception and reality, adjusting projection to optimize influence without manipulation. Each interaction becomes an opportunity to consolidate psychological dominance while maintaining integrity and composure. Project decisively. Use eyes, voice, and calm to establish space and command attention. Let others follow the rhythm you set, understanding your authority through subtle yet unmistakable signals. Presence is preparation, projection is execution. Master these elements, and the throne you occupy internally will be acknowledged externally, granting leverage and influence before any conflict arises. Project power, command respect. Opportunity vanishes the moment threats materialize. To dominate, you must act before challenges recognize your presence. The inner assassin moves unseen, anticipating outcomes and neutralizing obstacles preemptively. Predictive instincts allow you to perceive potential disruptions before they crystallize into problems, granting strategic advantage. Observe patterns, evaluate intentions, and forecast behavior with precision. Each insight translates into action that maintains control and prevents escalation. Hesitation seeds initiative, foresight consolidates power. Develop invisible intervention as your core method. Influence situations subtly, guiding events without exposure. Small, deliberate adjustments can shift outcomes dramatically, shaping circumstances in your favor while leaving others unaware of your hand. Avoid overt displays of force. Subtlety ensures that your influence operates with minimal resistance. Weak, react visibly to every minor disruption. Strong, adjust variables quietly, maintain concealment, and achieve objectives efficiently. Every choice should steer the flow of events toward your strategic goals without alerting opposition. Merciless precision amplifies the effect of minimal action. Small, calculated interventions often produce disproportionate impact, achieving more than overt exertion. Focus on high-leverage moves, targeting the fulcrums of a situation where minor adjustments produce maximal advantage. Each calculated act reinforces authority, consolidates position, and discourages challenges. Evaluate consequences rigorously and execute decisively to minimize wasted effort and risk. Micro-actions, when timed and applied correctly, can dismantle resistance before it materializes. Anticipate the chain reactions of decisions, internal and external. By predicting the consequences of choices, you preempt problems, neutralize threats, and maintain control over the unfolding scenario. This requires acute observation, mental rehearsal, and a readiness to act with speed and accuracy. Patterns of behavior, historical tendencies, and subtle cues all provide data for precise intervention. Apply insight methodically, integrating observation with action to maintain the initiative. Situational awareness is critical. Assess environments, relationships, and dynamics constantly. Recognize subtle shifts in mood, intention, and opportunity. Align timing, positioning, and execution to maximize effect while remaining unseen. Avoid confrontation unless it guarantees strategic gain. When interaction demands response, deploy measured action with calm authority, achieving influence without exposure. Weak, react impulsively. Strong, observe, plan, and strike with minimal notice. Your inner assassin is the embodiment of preemptive strategy. Each move is deliberate, each intervention subtle, and each strike precise. Hesitation and overexposure are vulnerabilities, patience and discretion are weapons. By cultivating foresight, invisible influence, and exacting execution, you navigate complexity efficiently, neutralizing threats before they arise. Control is maintained not through force alone, but through anticipation, subtle manipulation of variables, and judicious application of effort. Act decisively before challenges become visible. Observe, predict, and influence with precision. Use minimal action for maximal effect. The path of dominance is forged not by reactive struggle, but by preemptive mastery of events, timing, and perception. Strike unseen, secure victory. Hunger drives survival. Ambition fuels dominance. Power is not granted to the comfortable, nor does it reside in complacency. Desire, when focused and directed, becomes an unstoppable force that propels action, sharpens strategy, and commands respect. Every victory begins with recognizing the raw energy within and channeling it toward objectives. Motivation untamed is chaos. Motivation disciplined becomes weaponized momentum. Feed the wolf within by cultivating clear goals, relentless drive, and unyielding focus. Controlled ferocity ensures that ambition does not devolve into recklessness. Aggression must be tempered with intellect, strategy, and foresight. Like a predator calculating the optimal moment to strike, balance force with timing, energy with precision. Overreaction or misdirected intensity wastes resources and exposes vulnerabilities. Weak, act on impulse, pursue goals blindly. Strong, measure, prioritize, and deploy energy strategically, letting calculated ferocity magnify impact. Apply assertiveness decisively in negotiations or competitive environments, demonstrating readiness without unnecessary aggression. Starvation equals weakness. Neglecting ambition, suppressing drive, or avoiding challenge invites rivals to claim advantage. Observing others advancing while you stagnate erodes position, diminishes influence, and seeds initiative. Regularly assess progress, confront complacency, and ensure energy is directed at high-leverage actions. Hunger is not mere desire, it is vigilance, discipline, and continuous improvement. Maintain intensity and resist comfort that dulls competitive edge. Desire as fuel demands actionable channels. Transform energy into measurable outputs, tasks completed, goals pursued, knowledge acquired, and influence extended. The internal fire must be visible in performance and results, signaling commitment and authority to allies and adversaries alike. Neglecting to act on ambition dissipates potential, creating gaps competitors exploit. Let the wolf's hunger drive deliberate, sustained effort. Controlled aggression enhances strategic positioning. In professional, social, or personal arenas, leverage assertiveness to influence outcomes, establish boundaries, and command attention. Aggression, tempered by foresight and restraint, creates opportunities for decisive advantage. Use intensity to shape perception, instill respect, and execute high-value moves efficiently. Weak, timidly defer or avoid confrontation. Strong, channel ferocity purposefully, demonstrating readiness and competence consistently. Monitor internal and external landscapes continually. Evaluate challenges, track progress, and adjust actions to sustain momentum. Let hunger inform strategy, guiding focus toward what strengthens position and discourages rivals. Resilience stems from sustained drive, disciplined effort, and intelligent aggression. Complacency is the enemy of authority. Hunger maintains vigilance, sharpens execution, and fuels progress. Feed ambition, maintain strategic ferocity, and never let desire wane. Let intensity guide decisions, energy drive action, and calculated aggression secure advantage. Power belongs to those who cultivate the internal wolf, mastering hunger to command influence and achieve supremacy. Feed the wolf, claim the throne. Life is a chessboard, and every action you take positions you for either advantage or vulnerability. Understanding the game means seeing beyond immediate gains, anticipating responses, and aligning moves with long-term objectives. Sacrifices are not losses. They are calculated investments in the larger strategy. Foregoing small victories can secure critical leverage later, ensuring that your influence grows steadily while opponents react to your deliberate design. Each decision must be weighed for its ripple effect across the board, shaping outcomes before others even recognize the game is underway. Anticipating opponents requires careful observation and analysis. Study patterns, motivations, and fears of those around you. Recognize predictable behaviors and leverage them strategically. By understanding what drives others, you can maneuver more effectively, positioning yourself to influence outcomes while minimizing exposure. Weak, act reactively to every move. Strong, predict intentions, plan multiple steps ahead, and use insight to steer situations toward favorable results. Micro decisions in meetings, negotiations, or social contexts reflect broader patterns. Approach each interaction as a move on the board. Multiple layers define mastery of the chessboard. Immediate outcomes are visible, but the true game unfolds several steps ahead. Consider long-term consequences of every action, anticipate how one move shifts the balance of power, and manipulate dynamics to create cascading advantages. Engage resources, alliances, and opportunities thoughtfully, deploying them at the precise moment to maximize effect. Like a seasoned player, think several turns ahead, balancing risk and reward while controlling perception and momentum. Sacrifice strategically to protect your position. Let go of minor gains that could expose vulnerabilities or create friction. High-value targets and long-term influence require patience and restraint. Each relinquished advantage should be intentional, preserving strength for decisive action. Efficiency in timing, resource allocation, and interaction ensures that your chessboard remains under control while rivals scramble to keep pace. Maintain situational awareness continuously. Observe patterns of interaction, environmental cues, and shifts in influence. Every conversation, decision, or gesture can be a subtle maneuver, advancing your position. Remain flexible, recalibrate strategy based on evolving circumstances, and execute with precision to convert insight into tactical advantage. Strong players adapt while controlling the tempo, shaping outcomes invisibly and effectively. Integrate foresight, sacrifice, and anticipation into a unified approach. Recognize that every move shapes not only immediate circumstances, but also future potential. Leverage knowledge, timing, and calculated action to dominate the board, ensuring that power accrues steadily and resiliently. Treat each interaction and decision as an opportunity to reinforce position, diminish threats, and expand influence, maintaining mastery across multiple layers of the game. Play deliberately, anticipate relentlessly, and sacrifice strategically. Every move is an investment in control, authority, and long-term dominance. Navigate the board with foresight and precision, making influence a product of deliberate action rather than chance. Every move secures your throne. Discipline is forged in repetition, and consistency is your primary weapon. Every small action repeated daily compounds into unbreakable habits, shaping character and mental fortitude. Begin each day with intentional acts that align with your highest standards, transforming ordinary routines into exercises of mastery. Rituals are not mere schedules, they are deliberate drills that condition your mind to endure, adapt, and overcome. Establish patterns that reinforce clarity, focus, and resilience, ensuring that chaos and distraction meet a prepared, unyielding mind. Pain is the instructor you cannot avoid. Embrace discomfort, not as suffering, but as an opportunity to strengthen endurance and sharpen awareness. Whether physical exertion, mental challenge, or emotional restraint, discomfort signals growth. Avoidance breeds weakness. Deliberate exposure cultivates the capacity to withstand adversity. Small hardships endured daily amplify your ability to act decisively under pressure, to maintain calm while others falter. Weak, avoid minor discomforts. Strong, confront them, extract lessons, and integrate resilience into every action. Structured routines create ritualized power. By anchoring your life in deliberate sequences, you transform ordinary time into a training ground for mastery. Morning reflection, focused work periods, disciplined movement, and nightly review are not optional. They are mechanisms that reinforce control over mind and circumstance. Each repetition strengthens neural pathways, aligns intention with action, and establishes authority over your day. Consistency, endurance, and ritual combine to form the iron will. Decisions become automatic in their efficiency, and response to challenges becomes measured, deliberate, and unstoppable. Energy conserved through structured routines can be deployed strategically, amplifying your influence while minimizing wasted effort. Treat every action as preparation for the next confrontation, every moment of discomfort as a forge, shaping precision and resilience. Observe yourself constantly. Track patterns of thought, emotional reaction, and habit execution. Adjust routines when inefficiency emerges, refine rituals to optimize clarity, and maintain vigilance over mental and physical performance. Small daily refinements compound into formidable capability, ensuring that your will remains impervious to fleeting temptation or external pressure. Through disciplined repetition, embrace of hardship, and ritualized structure, you cultivate an inner citadel no external force can breach. Strength is not born of impulse or chance. It emerges from intentional, sustained effort that aligns mind, body, and circumstance. Authority begins within and radiates outward, unassailable because it is forged from daily mastery rather than superficial display. Forge every day into unbreakable steel. True power manifests quietly. Those who are untouchable operate from within before influence extends outward. Your mind is a citadel, fortified with self-assurance that deflects doubt and intimidation. Psychological armor shields every decision, preventing manipulation from piercing your focus. Cultivate unshakable confidence through deliberate preparation, reflection, and mastery of the principles governing thought and action. Control over your internal world radiates outward, making external challenges increasingly irrelevant. Strategic invisibility allows you to maneuver without exposure. Like a predator in the wild, move silently, observe patterns, and anticipate shifts before they materialize. Influence outcomes without announcing intentions, ensuring actions maintain maximum impact. Avoid unnecessary confrontation. Let your presence be sensed rather than asserted. Weak, overt displays of dominance. Strong, subtle guidance that shapes events without drawing attention. The throne you hold becomes magnetized by authority, recognized instinctively. Others respond to composure, precision, and calm decisiveness. Your influence grows because perception aligns with reality. You project capability, and your sphere expands naturally. Observe social and professional environments to identify where subtle intervention can alter outcomes, applying foresight to multiply effect. Micro-example: when a colleague challenges a project decision, maintain calm, present a concise rationale, and allow their opposition to dissipate under the weight of reason. Every interaction is an opportunity to reinforce invulnerability. Respond to threats with measured clarity, letting no anxiety or doubt seep into your outward demeanor. Construct routines that strengthen resilience and maintain alignment between intent and action. Small, deliberate practices compound, embedding authority into posture, speech, and decision-making. Operate beyond the reach of distraction and external manipulation. Preserve energy for strategic deployment, letting others exhaust themselves on minor skirmishes while you advance toward critical objectives. Internal mastery dictates external invincibility. Focus, preparation, and foresight create a presence that cannot be assailed effectively. Project calm confidence, execute with precision, and let subtlety define your influence. Power perceived without coercion endures far longer than force imposed. The untouchable presence emerges from preparation, self-command, and disciplined projection of authority. Every decision, gesture, and reflection contributes to the aura of impenetrability. Your throne stands beyond reach. Mastery is earned. Where strategy, discipline, and insight converge, the final form is the sovereign of mind, battlefield, and throne. You no longer react to circumstance. You dictate its flow, becoming both architect and predator within every environment you occupy. Every principle you've internalized, the discipline of dawn, the patience of stillness, the ruthless elimination of weakness, the projection of authority, and the precision of unseen intervention, melds into a singular force that commands attention and respect. The battlefield is your mind and the world simultaneously, and each decision carries weight because it is deliberate, calculated, and unassailable. Unity of principles transforms separate skills into a cohesive strategy. The throne teaches projection and composure, ensuring presence is recognized instinctively. The battlefield hones anticipation, allowing you to predict challenges and position yourself advantageously. The wolf cultivates relentless drive, feeding hunger into calculated ambition, while the chessboard sharpens foresight, encouraging sacrifice for long-term dominance. Let these elements intersect. Weak, scattered tactics that exhaust energy. Strong, integrated actions that amplify every outcome. Internalize each framework, so instinct and calculation act in harmony. The psychological apex emerges as you move unseen, yet influence profoundly. Like a predator observing from shadows, you wait for the moment when action yields maximal effect. Subtle intervention shapes outcomes before opposition registers change. Operate with precision, ensuring that small, deliberate moves carry strategic weight far exceeding their size. Micro example: when a team challenges a new strategy, maintain composure, present concise reasoning, and redirect attention to the overarching objective, letting the subtlety of command dissipate conflict without confrontation. The cost of ignorance versus the reward of mastery underscores every choice. Neglecting these disciplines leaves you prey, exposed to manipulation, distraction, and misdirection. Mastery elevates you above ordinary influence, granting autonomy in perception and authority in action. Your energy, focus, and decisions are now instruments synchronized to achieve outcomes that previously required negotiation, coercion, or luck. The disciplined mind generates momentum that others cannot counter, making effortless dominance inevitable when preparation meets opportunity. Every habit reinforces the sovereign. Morning rituals, calm stillness, decisive elimination of weakness, and projection of power become second nature. Ambition fuels action, foresight ensures efficiency, and invisible influence shapes reality. Each skill magnifies the others. Discipline strengthens projection, patience enhances prediction, and hunger fuels precision. Actions are no longer reactive, but anticipatory, sculpted by understanding the broader context and positioning every move as a piece on a living chessboard. Operate with vigilance, clarity, and relentless integration of principles. Align posture, speech, routines, and decision-making with the vision of a self-governed apex predator. Let no distraction, insecurity, or misjudgment penetrate your domain. Internal mastery radiates externally, creating influence without force. Observe, calculate, execute, and repeat. Efficiency becomes instinct, authority becomes natural, invisibility becomes strategic leverage. The final form is not only skillful, it is inevitable. Command your life, your environment, and your mind with unified precision. The apex is not given, it is claimed through consistent application of disciplined thought, strategic patience, and calculated action. Every action, perception, and decision must reinforce this integration, so mastery is total, influence is subtle, and dominance is unquestioned. Become the force that cannot be contested. Every empire begins within. The battlefield of the mind is where victories are won or lost, long before they appear in the external world. Each day, claim a small conquest, a disciplined habit, a mastered emotion, a calculated decision. These daily conquests accumulate, building a foundation of control that no external force can dismantle. Just as generals fortify strongholds before sending troops to war, you fortify your mind through repeated deliberate victories. Weak, sporadic effort that yields fleeting gains. Strong, consistent action that compounds into permanent mastery. Relentless vigilance is non-negotiable. Even the most disciplined mind can falter if defense lapses. Observe patterns in yourself and your environment with the precision of a predator scanning the horizon. Protect your thoughts from intrusion, distractions, and complacency. Micro example: when a colleague questions your strategy, respond with calm, concise reasoning, reinforcing authority while redirecting focus to shared objectives. Every interaction is an opportunity to assert control without conflict. Command your routines as if each is a strategic position on the chessboard of life. Prioritize tasks, anticipate obstacles, and execute with precision. Let ambition and focus act as your allies, propelling you toward cumulative victories that become unassailable. Internal discipline radiates externally, shaping perception, influence, and outcomes effortlessly. Your presence communicates competence, composure, and calculated power, drawing respect and cooperation without demand. Integrate all prior lessons, project authority, wield patience, embrace calculated risk, and cultivate hunger. Synchronize thought, action, and perception into a singular force that operates both visibly and unseen. Like a sovereign surveying the battlefield and throne simultaneously, you move with intention, ensuring that every decision advances your dominion. Avoid stagnation, hesitation, or misjudgment. Each moment unclaimed is a surrender of influence. The apex is reached, not by chance, but through unwavering application of strategy, discipline, and insight. Control your inner world with the same rigor you impose on external circumstances. Let no distraction, insecurity, or idle moment undermine the throne you have constructed. Internal mastery begets external authority. Preparation converts opportunity into inevitability. Act decisively, observe relentlessly, and reinforce your sovereignty with each thought, word, and deed. Your mind commands, the world obeys.